Want to know the difference between dreaming and doing? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a warrior. Tech goes by many names. Business, fine art, forensic science. Some think it's just technical. But really, tech means everything. Scholarships, internships, championships. It's professors who make time for you one-on-one. It's putting everything on the line. It can be fierce. It can be fascinating. It can be awesome. Most important, it's believing in yourself and what you have to offer the world. Because at Indiana Tech, warriors are prepared to lead a significant life.
You're busy. You expect to say no sometimes. But what you didn't expect was a chance to say yes to a college degree while keeping your life. Indiana Tech is now offering Chicago area students undergraduate and graduate degree opportunities taught online by experienced faculty who care. Learn more at one of the new Indiana Tech enrollment centers in Naperville or Wilmette.
I can turn this in early? Sure, whenever you're ready.
Embrace the unexpected at Indiana Tech.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that there aren't very many energy programs out there. When I researched all of the various programs recently, there are really only 2 or 3 accredited engineering programs.
I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada originally. I came out here to Indiana Tech to actually go for the energy engineering program because of its uniqueness and its ability to get hands-on with the materials that I'm going to be using in the future.
Well, a few of the things I think that sets Indiana Tech apart is, number one, you have very small classes. You have very close relationships with your professors. When you have a class of 10 people, it's much easier to get to know the professor and get in contact with him than if you have a class of 30, 40, or 50. You're going to have the same professors for the majority of your classes. You're going to have the same classmates for the majority of your classes.
The more practical applications come in all the subsequent energy engineering classes. Heat transfers in a class that right after they're leaving the classroom, and the board is filled with calculus. So in order to understand a lot of these topics, they're going to need to understand the calculus there. Calculus is the study of the rate of change, how fast things change. And depending upon whether it's energy engineering, industrial engineering, or whatever, they're going to need to use that and apply that.
Professor Romary, he stands out to me the most right now because when I first got here, I had to take calculus, Calc 1, Calc 2. And he's one of the professors that teaches it. And he just really was a very kind and helpful guy, and he did whatever he could to help us out. He was very funny, always had a way of creatively teaching calculus to us that not a whole lot of people can do. And I think that and how he did it is going to be something that's going to stick for me for a very long time.
The field work that Indiana Tech can provide here is, for example, we have a 10 kilowatt windmill that the students can work with. We have a geothermal system for a couple of the buildings for Utang-Sioux and for Zollner that uses geothermal principles to heat and cool the buildings in the summer and the winter.
The PV array system, training system that we have down here in the basement allows us to wire up the panels we have down in the basement to set it up as a off-the-grid system or a battery bank system, which helps us because we can see every component of the system actually intertwining and how they work together, which is something that may not be easily visible when you're on the job site in a career. So definitely my internship at SuperValue Incorporated was a very, very beneficial program for me to be in. It was more based on the process and logistical side of engineering of my degree, not necessarily the design aspect. It helped me really learn how the most efficient way to do a task and some of the boundaries that come with trying to make things more efficient.
One of the things that we've been very fortunate here at Indiana Tech is that we've had a grant through AEP to help subsidize our students in taking some of the various trips in spring break. Over the last 4 years, I have taken, along with a couple of other chaperones, I've taken almost a couple of dozen students to a trip to Germany and Switzerland that focused on renewable energy. We've gone to Iceland last year, focusing on geothermal energy, and we just recently returned from a trip to Costa Rica.
Just last year, I went to Iceland with a couple of our peers, not even just energy engineers, but a couple of other engineering majors went along with us. And for me, that was the highlight of my college time. I mean, we learned a lot about like geothermal systems and how they converted to a country of basically like ran just by geothermal. But it wasn't just learning about that, it was also learning about their culture as well, you know, and the past and the history and where they plan to go in their future. And all those things combined, I think, really kind of defines my experience here in Indiana Tech.
You can be the smartest engineer in the world, but if you cannot talk to or work with other engineers and non-engineers, it's very hard to get anything done. I try to teach my students that while you may not like writing, it's going to be a part of the job. You have to communicate. If you're doing experiments or testing hardware in the lab, you need to write it up so that other people know what you did, and the customer may want to know what are the results of that test.
Something I would remember most about the faculty would be just the one-on-one aspect of it and how open they are to hearing your problems and concerns and willing to assist you. Indiana Tech, with the class sizes being so small, you really get that one-on-one talking, everyday type relationship with your advisors and your professors. And having that is key to success, I feel, because being able to communicate with them and actually get your problems and questions across is going to help clarify things for you while you're in classes in school, which is going to set you up for success.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Want to know what it means to be a warrior? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and walk a mile in a warrior's shoes. You want to know what's possible at Indiana Tech? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a warrior.
We welcome you to the Schaefer Center in downtown Fort Wayne, Indiana, as the two top teams in the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference face off here on this Wednesday, January 31st. The Siena Heights Saints coming in at 18-2 overall, 13-1 in the conference this year, riding an 18-game winning streak here in Fort Wayne to take on the number 21 ranked Indiana Tech Warriors, who are unbeaten in the conference this year with a 17-3 overall record. Well, what a dandy we have on hand here this evening at the Schaefer Center. The two top teams in the conference facing off tonight at a chance for Indiana Tech to distance themselves from the rest of the pack this evening, and a chance really to take a huge step forward towards winning an outright regular season championship in the WHAC. For Siena Heights, this is a must-win game if there is one at any point in this season. When you get to this point in the year and you still got 5 conference games after tonight, or a little bit more, this is a big one, trying to take down Indiana Tech. If you can get this win over Tech, you split the season series, and then you just got to win out, hope Tech loses a game down the stretch. But if Indiana Tech can beat Siena Heights for the second time this season, the Warriors will be in the driver's seat. That's because the conference standings currently look like this. Coming into tonight, Indiana Tech at the top with a 14-0 conference tilt record. Siena Heights at number 2, 13-1, and then Concordia 12-2 in the conference so far this season. And then there's everybody else. Cornerstone at number 4, they're fighting for a home quarterfinal game in the conference tournament. Rochester and Lawrence Tech tied for 5th. Madonna, Aquinas, and Lourdes are all tied for the 7th spot with 5-9 conference records. But it really is a race at the top for that number 1 seed. Concordia a back seat right now to both Siena Heights and Indiana Tech, but a win for the Warriors this evening would go a long way into getting yet another regular season conference title here in the WHAC. 20-plus wins in every season since the 2015-16 season for Indiana Tech, and they've won 30 games 4 times over the last 6 years. It feels like we're on the track once again for Indiana Tech to hit that 30 win total number. Still some games to be played, of course. This is a big one tonight, and about as big as it gets, if we're being quite honest. Concordia still comes to Fort Wayne before the end of the season, but there just is not a game left on the schedule in the regular season for either one of these teams that will mean as much to the final results in this conference as this game here tonight. It's never do or die with two teams who should be in the national tournament, but this is about as close as it gets as we near the end of the conference season. The final conference game will be played on February 24th. Indiana Tech is at home Saturday, 2 road games next week. They'll be at home the following week for Dearborn and Lourdes, and then Concordia and UNOH round out the regular season schedule for Indiana Tech. So if you don't count the game here tonight, 7 games remaining after this evening, all conference games for both Indiana Tech and Siena Heights. For the Saints, they'll be at home on Saturday, taking on Cleary at 3 p.m. in their pink game. Then they'll be at Northwestern Ohio on Wednesday the 7th, 1 week from today, and then at Cornerstone on the 10th as well. So this is a big-time tilt between Siena Heights and Indiana Tech here this evening. Top 2 teams in the conference standings coming into tonight with Siena Heights 13-1, just trailing Indiana Tech 14-0 in the conference to start the year. Let's dive into the numbers a little bit deeper for the Saints, who, as I mentioned, were receiving votes in the latest coaches poll, which came out today. Indiana Tech up 2 spots to number 21. Kayla Hinton is the leading scorer for Siena Heights. She makes her return to Indiana Tech with a 13.6 points per game average this season. Hinton also leads the team in assists per game this year at 4.5 per contest. Olivia DeLong is the leader in rebounds for this Siena Heights squad. 7.1 rebounds per game for the Saginaw, Michigan native and senior Olivia DeLong. Iana Wan will also get into the starting lineup for Siena Heights. She has the most steals on the team with 38 on the year. Jakari Alvin shooting 51% from the floor this season. That is best on the Saints roster. And a name that may sound familiar to you in the 260, Madison Weiss, the 5'5" freshman guard from Albion, a Central Noble High School graduate, is leading the Saints in her first season with Siena Heights in three-point field goal percentage. Weiss averaging 6 points per game and shooting 43% from long range on the season. The last time these two sides met, it was a win for Indiana Tech back on November 11th. Just game 2 of the year for Siena Heights, game 4 of the season for Indiana Tech. 48-41 the final score at Siena Heights all the way back on November 11th, and that was the last time that this Saints side has lost. They open up the year with back-to-back losses, fell to 0-2, and what have they done but win 18 straight games since that point. Indiana Tech the last time out with a win over Cornerstone on the road, 58-48. Siena Heights defeating Madonna their last time on the floor as Kayla Hinton led the charge with a season-high 25 points in that win over Madonna. She scored 25 a couple of different times this year. Also did it against Cornerstone earlier this season. Indiana Tech 7-1 on the home floor this year. Siena Heights is 6-1 on the road this season under head coach Sue Siljabek in her 20th year. The most wins in program history, 375 victories in total, and 9 seasons over those 20 years of at least 20 wins for Coach Siljabek and this Saints squad. Siena Heights has won 18 games in a row. Indiana Tech unbeaten in the conference this year. They've won 8 consecutive games coming into play tonight. Other games going on in the WHAC this evening, and these games are all underway. We're the only 6 p.m. tip-off. Other games starting at 5:30. Madonna is at Northwestern Ohio, Aquinas at Lawrence Tech, Cleary at Rochester, Lourdes at Concordia, and Cornerstone is at Dearborn here this evening. We'll have the men's game coming up following this one. Should be a really good game as the Siena Heights men's squad has played Lourdes and Madonna back-to-back. Now you get Indiana Tech, so it's the top 3 teams in the conference essentially back-to-back-to-back on the Siena Heights schedule, but they've been playing a lot better basketball since the last time Tech saw Siena Heights back in December. 18-2 Siena Heights Saints, 13-1 in the conference, taking on the Indiana Tech Warriors, who come in at 17-3, 14-0 in the conference standings. We'll step aside, take about a 3-minute pause, and return with your starting lineups and tip-off from the Schaefer Center. Wednesday night hoops continue after this. SummitCitySports.com and Indiana Tech Athletics on YouTube.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
I decided if I was going to come to Indiana Tech, I was going to be a different kind of instructor. I was really going to focus on connecting with students, teaching the students the theory that they needed and also the practical applications.
Very practically what that looks like is smaller class sizes. So my class sizes are the 8 to 10 up to maybe 20. And that's backed up with we have 18 hours of office hours every week. I'm sitting in my office waiting for students to come in to talk about anything. It doesn't just have to be with the classroom.
In the College of Engineering, we have ABET accreditation for mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and biomedical engineering. ABET is the top accrediting board for engineering in the United States and probably in the world.
Another thing that is a very different approach at Indiana Tech, I think, that some other universities, is we try and make sure they have a lot of lab experience in the engineering department. All engineering programs are going to have laboratory courses, but in our laboratory courses we try to get them not just exposure to measurements and exposure to some of the devices that you'll be used, but I like to actually assign projects that are, realistic projects.
Those projects, this project-based learning, help students to work together in a group and be hands-on with their the material or the product that they're creating. Engineering students at Indiana Tech are, to me, stand out because I know that they've had a lot of experiences working in groups, working on projects, doing lab experiments to help them understand the material, and I think that prepares them well for industry.
First thing I'll tell a high school student is study, study, study. Get all the math you can possibly get. I honestly believe that the critical thinking skills you learn in math courses will help you with engineering courses.
The type of knowledge base that students should have coming in, they need to be problem solvers and critical thinkers. Those two things are really the essence of engineering. Regardless of flavor, they're going to need to figure out, there's a problem here, how do I solve it? And they need to think critically about that. They need to observe, listen to people, and then kick in those problem-solving skills to solve the problem.
Part of the growth of Indiana Tech has involved an increasing number of international students. So I think if we can expose students to different ideas, different cultures, again, it makes them that much more competitive in the marketplace.
In the Fort Wayne area, we have lots of large companies, BAE Systems, Fort Wayne Metals, General Motors, Raytheon, Harris Corporation, and the list goes on. We have a lot of employers that want our engineering students.
Indiana Tech, I think, continues to serve students even beyond their graduation. We really strive to keep in touch with our alumni on a personal level just to see how they're doing, but then also they want to give back to the university because of the experiences they've had here, so they want to provide opportunities for other students here as well.
We welcome you back inside the Schaefer Center, downtown Fort Wayne, Indiana. Top two teams in the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference getting ready to face off here at Indiana Tech. Let's take a look at the starters. First, for the visitors on the scoreboard, Siena Heights Saints starting lineup. Kayla Hinton, the senior guard, wearing number 1. Olivia DeLong at 6'1", a senior forward. Iana Wan, a 5'6" senior guard. Jakari Alvin is a grad student who stands at 5'10" from Grand Rapids, Michigan. And Jillian Gelso, a 5'8" senior guard out of Ida, Michigan, rounds out the starting lineup for Siena Heights. Saints 18-2 overall, 13-1 in the conference. There's a look at those starters just with the numbers as we get ready for the starting lineup for your Indiana Tech Warriors. The Warriors look like this. Juliana Burris returns to the starting lineup tonight for Indiana Tech. Genevieve Decker, Taylor Covington, Erica Foy, and Corinne Smith round out the starting 5. This has been the preliminary group for Indiana Tech this season. They've been on the floor the most throughout the year. This starting 5 together. Burris has been out for a couple of games. We've seen Bethany Worm in the starting rotation with that. But Indiana Tech, this is the most comfortable look for the Warriors with this group as the starting 5. Let's hear them introduced. There are your starters for the Indiana Tech Warriors women's basketball team. Number 21 in the country, taking on Siena Heights. Just outside the top 25 are the Saints as we get ready for tip-off here on this Wednesday night. Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference doubleheader Erica Foy, you were on a little bit of record watch. Foy, 16 points away from hitting 2,000 in her Tech career. It's Siena Heights who controls the opening tilt. Saints have the basketball, and Deanna Wan starts the offense for Siena Heights. Saints averaging 70 points per game, but they have the best defense statistically in the country. A turnover on the opening possession on the offensive end for Siena Heights. This is where they make their bread and butter on defense. 46.8 points per game allowed, number 1 in the NAIA. Foy on the drive, lay in too strong, and a defensive board picked up by Alvin. Hinton hands off, Alvin on the attack, got a screen. And Decker lost that ball going down. A lot of hands in the cookie jar here, and a jump ball will alternate the arrow to Indiana Tech. Hard screen underneath, set there by Gelso on that opening possession down the floor for Siena Heights. Couple of hard screens here in the early going. Taylor Covington has run the point with Juliana Burris out. See if that mixes things up at all with Burris back in the lineup. Build confidence for Covington, certainly, over the last couple of weeks. Foy dribbled it off her foot. Loose ball and another jump ball as Alvin jumped on top of it beside Burris. And Bethany Worm coming in for Indiana Tech. And Decker will come off just a minute and 3 seconds into the opening quarter. It is scoreless. First game between these two sides back on November 11th. 48-41, the final score. We expect this to be a low-scoring affair here inside the Schaefer Center tonight. Hinton, the former Warrior, gives up for Alvin. Dribbles to the inside, nowhere to go midway through the shot clock. And a reset. Hinton, the leading scorer. Pass deflected, loose ball picked up. Wan gets to the inside but missed the lay-in. Covington board. Minute and a half off the clock in the first. Worm to the inside for Foy. Face up, jump shot, good. And Indiana Tech strikes first. Erica Foy for 2. Give the assist to Bethany Worm and make it 14 points from 2,000 for Foy. Wan dumping towards the middle for DeLong. Back out up high. Gelso with a 3-ball. Missed it. Offensive rebound. And then out of bounds on the end line for Siena Heights as DeLong may have been helped out of bounds. Indiana Tech basketball on a 2-0 lead. 2 minutes gone here in the first quarter. Screen from Foy. Covington gives off right to Smith. Burris did play 7 minutes the last time out, but she's fully back in the lineup here tonight for Indiana Tech. 10 to shoot. Covington. Hands off to Worm. 5 to shoot. Looking backdoor. Foy turns around and lays it in. Pair of assists for Bethany Worm. 4 points all belong to Erica Foy. And it's 4-0 Indiana Tech. Wan gets the screen left. Backs out midway through the shot clock. Wan on the attack, spins it back out, threw it to Corinne Smith. Turnover. Tech pushing. Smith. Left block. Throws it up and in. 6-0 Indiana Tech. Corinne Smith, 10 points and 6 rebounds in the win over Cornerstone. That average creeping up towards 7.5 points per game for Smith. She's played really well over the last month and a half. Inside look. DeLong may have gotten an extra step. Put back up, no good. Worm defensive board. Still a goose egg on the board for Siena Heights. Foy out in the left wing, top of the key. Smith drives in off the head fake, floats in, good for 2. 4 points for Smith, 4 points for Foy. 8-0 Indiana Tech. Wan trying to get around Foy, missed that lay-in opportunity. 4 minutes gone in this first quarter is 8-0 Indiana Tech. Covington blocked by DeLong. It's out of bounds. Will stay with the Warriors as we look back here on our replay. On the drive into the paint, Smith floats it up and good for two. Amaris Lowry in for the first time for Indiana Tech. It's Worm on the three. She sinks it. All Warriors here early on. 11-0 Indiana Tech. 5:40 first quarter and a full timeout taken by Siena Heights. We're back after this. SummitCitySports.com. Great start for the Warriors.
Want to know what it means to be a Warrior? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and walk a mile in a Warrior's shoes.
Good luck, Tammy.
See you, David.
Things happen. How do you make the unexpected happen? Take the next step with an online degree from Indiana Tech. Start with a visit to one of our 2 new Chicago area enrollment centers in Naperville or Wilmette. You'll discover a wide range of affordable undergraduate and graduate degrees with flexible class schedules designed to fit your lifestyle and help you earn a degree sooner than you'd expect. Embrace the unexpected at Indiana Tech.
You want to know what's possible at Indiana Tech? Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a Warrior.
11-0 Indiana Tech leading Siena Heights here in the opening quarter. 5 minutes, 40 seconds to play in this first quarter. And all Warriors so far. Looks like we are ready for play. Just letting the final seconds roll off on the timeout. So 5:37 first quarter. And Siena Heights using an early timeout. You just get 4 in the women's game. I believe it's 6 in the men's game, which is a little bit crazy. There's an and 1 for Alvin as she drives, runs into Worm, and it's a blocking foul on Tech. First foul against the Warriors, and a missed free throw may have been aided by the Tech student section. Foy with 10 on the shot clock kicks out. Worm looking for another three. She's got it. Bethany Worm with 6 points and a couple of assists. She's having a great start. Madison Weiss, the Central Noble grad, in for the first time. Giving off for Eva Alcock. Hinton driving against Covington, shovels off left, jump shot too strong, and they were content, Indiana Tech was, with that jumper. And now a jump ball, possession alternating to the Warriors. $11-0 start for Indiana Tech. Pressure in the full court, got to get it up the floor, and they do. Smith for Lowry in the corner, back to Worm, and now set up the offense. Covington wide open, left wing three, rolls out. Approaching the 4-minute mark in this first quarter, Indiana Tech leads 14-2 on Siena Heights. Top 2 teams in the conference so far this season. Alcock spins, Worm poked it free. Turnovers have been big in this opening quarter for Indiana Tech. Covington tracks this down. Foy going into Smith. Size advantage. Smith kicks out. They'll go right back into her. Smith fouled, and she's got free throws upcoming. 6 turnovers by Siena Heights compared to 1 for Indiana Tech in this opening quarter. Genevieve Decker is on for Worm. Amani Geis-Finch in for the first time for Siena Heights. Burris at the scores table waiting on the shooter. Corinne Smith. 81% at the free throw line this season. That's second to just Erica Foy, who's at 86% on the year. 2 for 2 for Corinne Smith brings Burris on. 16-2 Warriors. Imani Geis-Finch, freshman guard out of Columbus, Ohio. Just under 4 points per game as she controls the rock with a pass for Alcock. Alvin, right lane line attack. And just not a great look at the rim. Decker came up with it. Covington scans the floor. Burris had to go meet the ball. Good defense from Siena Heights, and Weiss with a takeaway for the Saints. Geis-Finch trying to get to the inside. Kept her pivot foot. Inside of 3 minutes first quarter. Alvin too strong, and Decker with good defense. Decker, step too many, out up high, turns it over. Still, Indiana Tech leading 16-2, 2:39 first quarter. Warriors 6 of 9 from the floor to start, 2 for 3 from long range, 2 of 2 at the charity stripe. 6 points for Worm, 6 points for Smith, and the other 4 belong to Foy. Hinton gets the screen, driving inside, out left, jump shot good, and a nice look for Alvin, who has all 4 points for Siena Heights. Lowry going into Foy. Kicks right, Burris baseline drive, got blocked by DeLong, who steps in and swats it away. Corinne Smith on for Indiana Tech. And Genevieve Decker will come out. 14 to shoot on this possession for the Warriors as Covington triggers the inbound. Burris got inside and lays it in. 18-4 Indiana Tech. Geis-Finch went coast to coast, missed the lay-in. DeLong missed the putback, batted around. Smith had it ripped away by Geis-Finch, but it's a jump ball. Possession stays with Siena Heights. Another sub as Sienna Wan is back in for the Saints. Wan inbounding. DeLong, double teamed, still fights through it and lays it off the glass. Covington kick out, Burris the 3, that's pure! Last 5 points belong to Juliana Burris. 21-6, Indiana Tech. Minute 15, first quarter. Geis-Finch driving. Foy helped defensively, altered the shot. Loose ball and a foul on Lowry here. Sends Brooke Redmond to the free throw line. Redmond 2 free throws. And missed on the first. Indiana Tech plus 13 in the turnover margin in the first meeting between these two. 0 for 2 at the free throw line for Siena Heights. Can't leave points there in a game that we expect to be tightly contested. Good defense from Geis Finch. Reset for Tech inside a minute opening quarter. Smith catch and shoot in the corner. Another three for Tech. 24-6 in this first quarter. Warriors on top. Lowry nearly took it away. Weiss gives up. Geis Finch has the response. Much needed three ball from Siena Heights. Shot clock is off. Indiana Tech basketball and can hold for the final shot of the first quarter. Covington peeks up. Smith with three, back to Covington, top of the key! What an opening quarter for Indiana Tech. Warriors lead 27-9 over Siena Heights. Second quarter comes your way next. What a start for the Warriors in this battle of the top two teams in the conference standings.
From the first day, I felt very welcome at Indiana Tech.
I just really enjoy the classes and the vibe I get from all the other athletes and just the students here. Everybody's cool and everybody gets along really well.
I'm currently a senior, and since my freshman year, student life activities have really grown throughout campus, and there's so many ways that you can meet new people. You can go bowling, you can watch movies, and it's just really important to get involved on campus.
You have intramurals, anything from billiards to basketball. It's made student life very enjoyable.
I love Fort Wayne because there's always something going on, like festivals. I walk a bunch of the trails here locally. There's great restaurants. There's always something fun to do. You can never be bored here in Fort Wayne.
The school spirit at Indiana Tech is epic. It's everything. We had our first annual hockey game not too long ago. Everybody showed up, face paint, cowbells, Trojan hats, lawn gnomes. It was amazing. It makes it so worthwhile to be a Warrior. Go Warriors.
Off and rolling at the Schaefer Center here tonight, and what a start it's been for the number 21 team in the country, Indiana Tech, with a 27-9 advantage over Siena Heights after one. Juliana Burris back in the starting lineup and knocking down 5 consecutive points for Indiana Tech, but including this three from the outside for the Warriors. That's one of 3 consecutive made triples for Indiana Tech before the end of the first quarter. Tech basketball to begin quarter two. Foy, 4 points in the opening quarter. 12 away from career points 2,000. Decker missed the lay-in too strong. Loose ball all around, and it's picked up by DeLong. 11-0 start. It was 24-6 as well in that first quarter for Indiana Tech. Just cannot script a better start to this game with the top two in the conference facing off. Alvin, jump shot, and off the heel. And it hasn't been a fun start shooting for Siena Heights. Turnover by Indiana Tech. Corinne Smith, 9 opening quarter points. Juan gets the screen, goes right. Feeds it back out high for Geis Finch. Deep three for her, and she's got 6 points. Out 30 feet out. Midway through the shot clock on this possession for Tech. Covington stalls, kicks to the right. Decker driving in. Shot was altered by DeLong. And we've got a foul on DeLong with free throws upcoming for Tech. It's DeLong's first team foul, number 1 on the Saints. Decker sinks the first free throw. Juliana 27-9 after the opening quarter. Going back into DeLong, has that height advantage and sticks one up and in. 15-point lead for Indiana Tech. She knew Siena Heights wouldn't go away. It's just not really the game plan for them to have to score a bunch. Smith from the outside, high arcing three, just grazed the iron. And possession back to Siena Heights, 7:44 left in the second quarter. Geis Finch has 6 out of the 14. Tried to sneak a pass through and a turnover by Siena Heights. Again, Warriors were plus 13 in the turnover margin in the first meeting. Right now, plus 3 in that turnover battle. Worm, Covington, Burris, Foy, and Smith, the 5 on the floor for Indiana Tech. Foy, baseline, help comes, got it off to Worm, too strong, Smith offensive rebound. Did not get a shot clock reset. Burris, runner, and loose ball picked up by DeLong. Iana Wong. Wong gives up. Nice Finch, and now Alvin for Weiss. On the drive, she's glad to be back in the 2-6-0. Missed that lay-in, out of bounds. Will stick with the Saints. Decker and Lowry back into the lineup for Indiana Tech. Eva Alcock back in for Siena Heights as DeLong heads to the bench. So Alcock standing on the left elbow now. Good defense from Decker. Forced a pass back towards the top. Juan to the corner. Geis Finch, well contested. Nice work by Covington, partially blocked. Bullet pass up the floor. Lowry rips through to go baseline. Decker, right block. Tough shot for Genevieve Decker. She muscles it up and in. Final 6 minutes of this first half. Juan has it stripped free by Smith. 31-14, Indiana Tech out in front. Lowry, deep shot, too strong. Warriors have brought it both ends of the floor for the first 15 minutes. Alcock Jump shot rolls out. Another stop on the defensive end for Indiana Tech. Covington going coast to coast, bounced it in. Foy turns, puts it up and in. 10 points away from 2,000 for Erica Foy. 6 total tonight. Now 1990 in the career. Halfway through the second quarter. Juan nearly a 5-second there. Step through, left-handed lay-in. Nice finish from Iana. (33-16) Indiana Tech. Going into Corinne Smith, turns, puts it up, and Smith has double figures in the first half. 11 points for Corinne Smith. 19-point Indiana Tech lead. 18 consecutive wins for Siena Heights coming into play. But one of those losses in just 2 this year has been Indiana Tech. Block shot and then a foul as Covington came down on Vice. Coach Biggs, hands on the head as we head to a media timeout. 4:04 left in the first half. The number 21 ranked Warriors on top of Siena Heights, 35-16. We'll be back right after this. SummitCitySports.com.
Tech goes by many names. Business, fine art, forensic science. Some think it's just technical. But really, tech means everything. Scholarships, internships, championships. It's professors who make time for you one-on-one. It's putting everything on the line. It can be fierce. It can be fascinating. It can be awesome. Most important, it's believing in yourself and what you have to offer the world. Because at Indiana Tech, Warriors are prepared to lead a significant life.
(35-16) Indiana Tech leading Siena Heights as the top 2 teams in the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference are facing off in Fort Wayne today. The conference standings coming into today. Tech at the top, Siena Heights right behind, and then Concordia at 12-2. Concordia is hosting Lourdes this evening, and we can get you some scores and updates coming up at our halftime break. We'll have mostly halftime scores across the conference and games into the second half. Saints basketball out of the media timeout. Worm gets after it, loose ball on the floor, jump ball. Possession stays with Siena Heights, but the arrow flips. Single digits on the shot clock. Gelso with a screen, 3 to shoot, got to go somewhere. Alvin, shot contested, just grazed the iron. Shot clock violation. They'll say she didn't get that shot off apparently. I think officials getting together to discuss if that was actually a shot clock violation or not. Didn't look like it. Looked like it had grazed the rim, but Tech had the rebound. DeLong back in as Alcock heads to the bench. (35-16) Indiana Tech. Lower scoring second quarter, but 27 points in the first for the Warriors. And a travel on Foy. Foy just 10 points shy of 2,000. This is out of bounds off of Juan. Burris creates the turnover. Juan did not think it hit her on the way out. Burris pointed immediately to the other side and may have gotten the call because of it. Good work by Zero. Good to have her back out on the floor in that full roll here for Indiana Tech. Foy. Hook shot. Yes. 8 points away from 2,000 for Foy. .21 Tech advantage. Final 3 minutes of the first half. Hinton, jump ball, Bethany Worm, great stop on defense. Good pass all the way across. Again, Warriors on the offensive end. Nice find from Foy. Worm the lay-in. 23-point lead for Indiana Tech. This is the largest lead of the opening half for the Warriors. Burris deflects it into the backcourt. Juan driving in, too strong on the lay-in. Covington slicing, hands off for Worm and gets it right back. Final 2 minutes of the second quarter. Foy, baseline drive. Covington, extra pass, one extra. Lowry the three. Yes! Amaris Lowry! Pandemonium at the Schaefer Center. Coach Biggs is loving it. 26-point lead at the half. Or it'll be near that here for Indiana Tech as they continue to roll in this opening 20 minutes. Alvin trying to drive on Worm. Great defense from Tech. 2 on the shot clock. Wong gets it off before the horn and a much-needed bucket for Siena Heights. That'll get Corinne Smith back into the game for Tech. Covington, a three ball. Oh my! Indiana Tech lighting up the scoreboard. 45-18 Warriors. Hinton and a foul call. What a first half it's been for Indiana Tech. Foul on Worm is her second. That is the 7th made three-pointer of this first half for Indiana Tech. 7 of 10 from long range. Warriors 65% from the field, 70% from deep, 4 for 4 at the line. I think they were ready to play here tonight. Hinton's first free throw is good. Jam Thigpen is on for the first time, wears 24 for Siena Heights. As Hinton goes 1 for 2. Foy ends up with a rebound. Everybody who's hit the floor has scored at least 3 in this first half for Indiana Tech. Lowry looking for another 3. Oh, yes! Oh, my goodness! It's all Warriors in the first half. Top 2 teams in the conference, and the number 1 team is flexing their muscle on the home floor tonight. Hinton drives, missed it. Decker, jump ball. Saints keep possession, 13 seconds left in the second quarter. Hinton looking for somewhere to go into the long. She'll get it back in the corner, 10 seconds. Hinton picks up the foul on the runner. Covington's second, third team foul of the quarter. And now 48-21. Final 8 seconds of this first half. And a reach-in foul against Siena Heights. Not the end of the world, just team foul number 2 on the Saints. Four seconds in 3. Gotta hurry. Burris floats it up at the horn. Yes! 50 first half points for Indiana Tech. 50-21 at the halftime break. A first half to remember for the Warriors as the #1 team in the conference continues to show why they're #1. Halftime break, number 21 Indiana Tech 50, Siena Heights 21. Let's take a tour around the Indiana Tech campus as the fight song plays at the Schaefer Center.
Hi, I'm Paxton, and I'll be your tour guide today. Behind me, we have Pearson Hall. This is one of our freshman dorms on campus. Today, I'll be showing you dorm rooms. Come inside. The only way to get into campus is if you have an ID card, so you'll have to swipe into all the dorms. And then over here, we have an intercom system. So through every dorm, we have these dial buttons within the dorm rooms and then outside. So say you're visiting somebody, you don't live here, you would dial their room number and then you can actually call their room and they can unlock the doors to the dorm through the intercom system, and you can talk to them. They can see you through a camera and they can unlock the doors for you so they don't have to leave the room. It's really nice to have. So right here we just have our main lobby. Every floor has a lobby. In the lobbies we just have TVs and stuff. You can watch movies, play video games. You can hang out with friends, do homework, play card games. It's just a nice little hangout area to have. And then right here, this is what we call our RA office. So every single night there will be an RA in the office. They're just there for your needs if you have any issues with toilets or sinks or anything being clogged. They'll always be in there for your help. If you have questions about anything, you can always come see an RA here. And then over here, we have mailboxes. Every student has a mailbox. They are really small. The only thing they can fit is card-sized items. Throughout campus, you'll see our mail room when you go on your actual tour later on, and that will be in one of our other buildings where you'll receive bigger packages. All right, so here's the laundry room. So in the laundry room, you don't have to save quarters or use quarters. I know it says 25 cents, but it is included with living on campus. And then there's one on every floor and every side of the floor, so there's 2 on every floor in Pearson. So every student has keys to their dorm. And then as you come in, you will see our intercom system right here that I talked about in the entranceway. So this is where you would unlock the door for visitors, talk to them. And then one really nice thing about it is there is a security guard button right there. So if you were to have somebody calling your room constantly at 5 o'clock in the morning because some student forgot their keys, you could actually press the security guard button and it will lock them in that little box that we entered into the dorm. It'll lock both the outside doors and the inside doors and call security. So it also has a nice safety measure within your room. You don't even have to leave your room for that. So it's really nice. And then as we enter in this way, you'll see this is the half of our room looks like. So there's this, and then on the other side of the suite, there's a mirrored room that looks exactly like this. The desk, the dressers, and the closets, and all of the drawers and stuff all come with. You can decorate it any way you'd like, and then mini fridges, TVs, anything like that you would bring here. And then through here we have our bathroom. So then as we come into the bathroom, you'll see that this side of the room has their own sink and toilet, and then as you come through, there's one shower shared between the 2 rooms, and then this side of the room has their own sink and toilet, and then there's the mirrored room right here. So then they share a little common space out there, and then this is the exact same stuff, and it's all the same. Here we have Calflesh. This is our other freshman dorm on campus. It is across the street from main campus. We'll be showing another freshman dorm, the laundry room, and then the hangout lobby area. Come on in. So same thing as Pearson. To get into the dorms, you have to have a swipe card that unlocks and lets you in. All right, and then we have the same intercom system as we do in Pearson, and it runs throughout all of the dorms. And then in here is the lobby area where all the students hang out. We have like a TV so people can hook up like Xboxes or anything like that, DVD players, you can watch movies. I know RA's put on a bunch of activities down here. They do like movie nights with hot chocolate during the winter. We've done like pumpkin carving and we watch a Halloween movie, and so that's all done down here. And then it's the same thing over here. You can do some studying, you can hang out with friends, you can eat dinner if you want, and like I said, you can hang out with your RA, hang out with your friends, do homework, but follow me to the next part. So same thing as Pearson, every student has keys to their dorm. So when you first walk in, it's different than Pearson where there's no like two mirrored room, it's just one room with two students. The shelves, the desks, the drawers, all of the beds and stuff all come with. And then over here, it's the same for Pearson and Calflesh. You can control the air condition and the heat for the room, not the entire dorm, which is so nice because then it's between you and your roommate, not through hundreds of people in one building. And then as we walk over here, you'll see that the sink is outside of the bathroom, which is so nice because obviously if your roommate's showering, you don't have to worry about not being able to brush your teeth or even use the sink or get a drink of water or anything like that. And then as we walk over here, you'll see only 2 roommates to 1 bathroom. And then the shelving space. And then instead of Pearson where they have closets, you would have this whole shelving space and hanger area. And then same thing as Pearson, we have the intercom system over here where you can press the security guard button, you can talk to them, and then see them through the camera. Calflesh also has mailboxes. They're the same size. They fit card-sized items. And again, if you have any bigger packages, we do have a mailroom on campus. So then through here, this is the laundry room. The difference between Pearson and Calflesh is Calflesh, there's only one in the whole building and it's on the first floor, whereas Pearson has them on every floor. But it is the same as they are included with living here, so you don't have to use quarters. It's free to the students. And that concludes the tour. Thanks for coming with. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to your counselor. Hope to see you around campus. Go Warriors!
Halftime break at the Schaefer Center. Number 21, Indiana Tech leading Siena Heights 50-21. That is not a mistake. 50 first half points for Indiana Tech against a Siena Heights squad that allows just under 47 points per game. Tech surpasses that in the first half of action. Jaron Matheny for Summit City Sports. Big thanks to Esau Haynes, who's running our camera here tonight. Look at the scores from the first half. Corinne Smith with 11 first half points for Indiana Tech to lead the charge. Worm and Foy each with 8 points in the first half. Burris had 7, Lowry and Covington with 6, and Decker with 4. Everybody who hit the floor in the first half had at least 4 points. Indiana Tech 68% from the field, 73% from beyond the arc, and 4 of 4 at the free throw line. Just 5 first half turnovers. On the other side, Siena Heights, 4 points for Alvin, Juan, and DeLong. 3 points for Hinton, and Geis Finch is the leading scorer with 6 first half points. Siena Heights, 30% from the field, 40%, 2 of 5 from beyond the arc, and 3 of 7 at the free throw line. The Saints with 11 first half turnovers. And it was Indiana Tech from the jump in this game. 11-0 to start, then it was 24-6 late first quarter, 27-9 after the first quarter. This game got to 35-16. About 4 minutes to play until the break, and then Tech went on and scored 15 points in those final 4 minutes before the half. And the Warriors flexing their muscle, to say the least, in that opening half. 50-21 in front of Siena Heights. Some other scores across the WHAC. Northwestern Ohio leading Madonna by 11 points. That game is headed to the fourth quarter. Also headed to the fourth quarter, Lawrence Tech over Aquinas by 6. Rochester leads Cleary currently 52-48. That game being played in Rochester and into the fourth quarter. Concordia with a 6-point lead over Lourdes. That game is in the fourth quarter as well. Cornerstone about to finish off Michigan Dearborn 67-48 in Dearborn tonight. Cornerstone going to pick up the win there. And then our score here, 50-21, Indiana Tech leading Siena Heights. St. Francis is at Goshen this evening. Spring Arbor at Marion. Huntington University currently leading Bethel 54-38. That game is into the fourth quarter. And Grace and Indiana Wesleyan, a final in women's basketball. IWU 86, Grace 46. A new top 25 poll is out for the women. Dort remains in the top spot, followed by Marion, Campbellsville, Indiana Wesleyan, and Clark at number 5. Carroll out of Montana, who Indiana Tech beat, is now number 8. Providence, who beat Indiana Tech out of Montana, now at number 13. And the Warriors coming in at number 21 in the current standings for women's basketball. That's your halftime report. Indiana Tech on top of Siena Heights 50-21 at the halftime break. We'll come back in 4 minutes with second half action live from the Schaefer Center, downtown Fort Wayne, Indiana. A great start for the Tech women's basketball team as they continue to be the top dog in the WHAC.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
I decided if I was going to come to Indiana Tech, I was going to be a different kind of instructor. I was really going to focus on connecting with students, teaching the students the theory that they needed and also the practical applications.
Very practically what that looks like is smaller class sizes. So my class sizes are the 8 to 10 up to maybe 20. And that's backed up with we have 18 hours of office hours every week. I'm sitting in my office waiting for students to come in to talk about anything. It doesn't just have to be with the classroom.
In the College of Engineering, we have ABET accreditation for mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and biomedical engineering. ABET is the top accrediting board for engineering in the United States and probably in the world.
Another thing that is a very different approach at Indiana Tech, I think, that some other universities, is we try and make sure they have a lot of lab experience in the engineering department. All engineering programs are going to have laboratory courses, but in our laboratory courses we try to get them not just exposure to measurements and exposure to some of the devices that you'll be used, but I like to actually assign projects that are, realistic projects.
Those projects, this project-based learning, helps students to work together in a group and be hands-on with their the material or the product that they're creating. Engineering students at Indiana Tech to me, stand out because I know that they've had a lot of experiences working in groups, working on projects, doing lab experiments to help them understand the material, and I think that prepares them well for industry.
First thing I'll tell a high school student is study, study, study. Get all the math you can possibly get. I honestly believe that the critical thinking skills you learn in math courses will help you with engineering courses.
The type of knowledge base that students should have coming in, they need to be problem solvers and critical thinkers. Those two things are really the essence of engineering. Regardless of flavor, they're going to need to figure out, there's a problem here, how do I solve it? And they need to think critically about that. They need to observe, listen to people, and then kick in those problem-solving skills to solve the problem.
Part of the growth of Indiana Tech has involved an increasing number of international students. So I think if we can expose students to different ideas, different cultures, again, it makes them that much more competitive in the marketplace.
In the Fort Wayne area, we have lots of large companies, BAE Systems, Fort Wayne Metals, General Motors, Raytheon, Harris Corporation, and the list goes on. We have a lot of employers that want our engineering students.
Indiana Tech, I think, continues to serve students even beyond their graduation. We really strive to keep in touch with our alumni on a personal level just to see how they're doing, but then also they want to give back to the university because of the experiences they've had here, so they want to provide opportunities for other students here as well.
Halftime break. Indiana Tech leads Siena Heights 50-21. And it will be Warriors basketball to begin the second half of action. And what a first half it was for Indiana Tech. Warriors start with the basketball to begin the third quarter. And again, a win today for Tech gives them 2 games in the loss column over Siena Heights. And they'd have the tiebreaker. Foy on the inside, offensive foul. And a charge called on Erica Foy on this opening possession for Indiana Tech. And we'll see what Siena Heights has in the bag in this second half. The Saints do average 70 points per game, but when you only give up 47 a contest and the team you're facing puts up half a century mark in the first half, you wonder where the psyche is. But this team's won 18 games in a row. Just didn't have it in the first half, and when you're playing a top 25 team, you gotta have it. Hinton on the drive, lays it in. Kayla Hinton, the finish with a left hand. Some full court pressure from Siena Heights. Tech patient to get across. Decker looked in for Foy. That was deflected on the pass, and Bethany Worm's going to come right back into this game for Indiana Tech. Gelso for Alvin. They'll dump to the inside, and Foy just picked up her second personal and the second team foul in this opening minute of the third quarter. And while it was a great start for Indiana Tech in this game, and it is a sizable advantage, the Warriors were able to do it. That means that other teams can do it, and you just got to be locked in for the full 40. Hinton spins, floats it right hand short. Worm out of bounds, and it is off of Siena Heights. No jump ball. They didn't have control going to the floor. Siena Heights head coach Sue Siljak did not agree. Thought that was a jump ball. Would have kept possession with Siena Heights. Batted out of bounds. Will stay with Indiana Tech. A little bit sloppy here from the Warriors to start this third quarter offensively. Hard to complain, though, when you've done what they did in the first half. Covington got to go somewhere. Tosses deep, and Foy comes down with it. Ten on the shot clock. Foy kicks out. Burris baseline, reverse lay-in for Juliana Burris. 52-23 Warriors. Double screens up high. Hinton goes the opposite way. Forster that way. Juan backs up. Jump shot, Alvin, too strong. Out to the right corner. Worm for Burris. Covington screen left by Foy. Now Smith holds up high. Worm cuts to the bucket and gets the lay-in off the touch from Burris. 31-point Indiana Tech lead. This is the largest of the game. Kelso, top of the key for DeLong. Just don't have that outside shooting threat for Siena Heights, and it allows Tech to sink in defensively. Jump ball, and this time the arrow will stay with Siena Heights. Hinton looking to inbound, nowhere really to go. Got to get it in here. DeLong charges into Worm, offensive foul. DeLong's second first team foul against Siena Heights in this opening second half. Nearly a takeaway. It's thrown out of bounds. Warriors with the ball. 3 minutes off the clock in the third quarter. We'll take some patience here from Indiana Tech in this second half, and a lot of conviction. A lot of conviction with where you're passing the basketball. Attack the basketball when it's coming to you. Loose ball here. Foy picks it up. Lucky it wasn't a turnover. Foy, long range look. Too strong. Burris went to tap it back and it stepped out of bounds before she threw it back in. We started the second quarter and we're about 5 minutes in. I said it's been a slower quarter scoring-wise, and then Tech put up 23 points, 15 in the last 2 minutes. Hinton, three ball, splashes in. Lowry at the scorer's table. Tech breaks the timeline. Worm, backdoor look. Corinne Smith got a push in the back, but no call. One to DeLong. DeLong against Foy. Nice spin move. Kept her feet, but missed the lay-in. Sub waiting to check in for both teams at the next break as we approach our first media timeout in the second half. Lauren Barton back to the scorer's table. Couple of subs for each side waiting to go through. Foy. And DeLong forces the jump ball. Arrow keeps it with Indiana Tech. Barton and Lowry in for Foy and Smith. Madison Weiss, Eva Alcock are in for Siena Heights. DeLong has done a good job of keeping Foy off balance today. Problem is that Indiana Tech has had so many other options, and they can shoot from all levels of the floor, and we just haven't seen Siena Heights. Geis Finch had a couple threes, and I think the only 2 threes of this game for the Saints. They haven't had that second, third level scorer. Hinton taps it out of bounds as they were trying to get it into Burris. 10 on the shot clock. Deflected into the backcourt. Shot clock at 5. Worm gonna have to hurry. Shot clock to 2. Spins it up and off the iron. Redmond in the game gives up high. Hinton, top of the key, hits another three. Kayla Hinton makes it a 25-point game. 5:08, and now down to the midway point of the third quarter. Next whistle will take us to immediate timeout. Covington launching. No. Hinton grabs the loose ball for Siena Heights. Lowry did a nice job to alter the angle there. Worm throws it up the floor for Lowry. Kept that pivot foot. Nice job by Amaris Lowry. Those are the little things that don't show up in the stat sheet that matter. Stick your hand in, alter the angle, and ended up in a turnover. 10 on the shot clock. Burris dumps inside for Barton. Left hand rolls out. Saints trying to open up the scoring. Hinton. And one. She got around Covington. And that's the third, I believe, on Taylor Covington. 4:02, third quarter. We're headed to a media timeout with that blocking foul. Indiana Tech still on top. Siena Heights trying to find its offensive groove. Final 4 minutes of the third quarter. After this, SummitCitySports.com. Don't go anywhere.
It's really important for freshmen to realize you get out of college what you put into it. If you dedicate yourself to your classes and to your projects and to what you're doing in college, you're going to have a really great experience here.
I wish someone would have told me my freshman year that it's important to prioritize, knowing what's important, what's not important, knowing what I need to do opposed to what I want to do.
The two things that I think all freshmen should know is buy a parking permit so you don't rack up a bunch of fines and tickets. And also make sure you go to class, because it seems like a good idea when you're skipping, but then it's not worth it in the end when you fail the test or don't turn in homework.
As an international student, my advice for the freshmen is to not be afraid to make friends, because your friends here will end up being your family away from home.
Anything that you want to do, anything that you want to put on, anything that you want to showcase on campus, you can. There's always people around to help you do what you want to do here.
Make sure that you always take time for yourself to make sure that you're okay, because college can be very overwhelming as far as like schoolwork and friends and sports and just like everyday life. Always just make sure that you get what you need to get done.
It's important to have a relationship with your professors, because you become more personable with them. You start to engage in the material more. They can give you recommendations, especially once you get out of college. You definitely want to put them down as like references. And if you have a better personal relationship, it just makes the whole learning experience go smoothly.
And one free throw for Hinton is through as we welcome you back for the final 4 minutes of this third quarter. Indiana Tech leading by 22 in this battle of 1 and 2 in the WHAC. There's a turnover. Juan up ahead. Reverse lay-in. No. Good defense by Tech to get back. Siena Heights looking for a foul. Hinton knocks this one out of play. And Tech has possession, 27 on the shot clock. Warriors led 50-21 at the half. So 11-4 in this quarter, but this is a little bit more of what we expected. Logjam in the scoring with Siena Heights on defense. Foy, 20-foot jumper is perfect. 6 points to get to reach 2,000 for Erica Foy. Alcock gives back to Weiss. Thrown back out up high for Hinton. Shot clock at 7. Hinton step back three. Her third three of the quarter for Kayla Hinton. And Indiana Tech's lead down to 21. No panic, certainly yet. Siena Heights offense is starting to find a groove a little bit. Warriors looking for the answer. Worm, long range. Doesn't have the response here. Lowry to the scorer's table for Tech. 2.5 minutes, third quarter. Juan kicks out, jump shot, too strong. Offensive rebound, Juan, put back altered. Another offensive board, Redmond, and one. And Siena Heights creeping back into this game. Foul was on Burris, her first. Redmond hits the free throw. 18-point game. Lead got to 31 for Tech as they break the full court pressure of Siena Heights. Looking inside at Foy and a foul. Siena Heights fans didn't like it. It was pretty blatant from up here. Had her hooked on the hip. Second team foul of the quarter against the Saints. Decker cuts and lays it in. Another tough bucket for Genevieve Decker. Final 2 minutes of the third quarter. Shuffled through, DeLong blocked by Foy and a late whistle. That puts Siena Heights in the bonus. Foy's third. Barton will come in for Foy. DeLong at the line shooting 2, where this season she's 50%. They did not count the bucket. But it won't matter. DeLong goes 2 for 2. Tech against the pressure. Decker patient, but a travel. And now Siena Heights with a nice section of fans on the road, starting to get a little bit louder. Final 100 seconds of the third quarter. Alvin out up high, they'll let her stay up there. Hinton drives and is fouled by Worm. Kayla Hinton at the free throw line to shoot 2. Warriors just 8 points in this third quarter compared to 19 for Siena Heights. Hinton has 18 off the made free throw. 25 points on a couple of different occasions this year for Hinton. She's now got 19 as Juliana Burris returns for Indiana Tech. 58-42. 21 third quarter points for Siena Heights after scoring just 21 points in the entire first half. Barton gets it as Tech is across the timeline. Gotta work patiently on the offensive end, looking for a good bucket. Smith for Burris in the right corner. Shot clock to 5, and a foul as DeLong's over the back of Barton. Team foul number 3 against Siena Heights. Shot clock reset to 20. Substitution. Eva Alcock is back in, so both DeLong and Foy with 3 personal fouls. Final minute of the third quarter. Burris. Driving to the inside, kicks out right corner. Lowry 3, following her own shot. Missed it, loose ball, and a travel on Alcock as she went down to a knee after the rebound. "20 seconds on the shot clock, and it'll be a fresh 30, actually, for Indiana Tech. Decker, and one! Genevieve Decker, that's a big-time bucket for Indiana Tech off the inbound. And one free throw is good for Decker. Could be the final offensive possession of quarter 3 for Siena Heights. It's been a good offensive quarter for the Saints. Hinton drives, Barton, blocking foul. Hard to believe. Barton was camped out there, it felt like, before contact was made. A block. Shot clock's off. Hinton 2 free throws. And Hinton good on the first free throw. She cans them both. 17-point Tech lead. Got across before the 10-second. Final shot of the third quarter for Indiana Tech. Already 2 buzzer beaters in this game. 6 seconds. Burris. Step back. Jumper. Short. And that's how the third quarter comes to a close. Siena Heights not going away. Indiana Tech built that nice lead at the half. It's down to a 17-point advantage as we head to the fourth quarter. Back in 1 minute to the Schaefer Center. SummitCitySports.com.
Want to know the difference between dreaming and doing? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a warrior. Want to know what it means to be a warrior? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and walk a mile in a warrior's shoes.
10 minutes to decide if we have a tie at the top of the WHAC or if Indiana Tech will be in sole possession of first place with 2 games in hand. Jaron Matheny for SummitCitySports.com. Esau Haynes running our camera here tonight as well. Warriors will start on defense in this fourth quarter. Foy, Worm, Burris, Covington, and Smith line the floor for Indiana Tech. For Siena Heights, Weiss, Alcock are out there with Alvin, Hinton, and Juan. Hinton has surpassed the 20-point mark in this game for Siena Heights, as it was a 23-11 third quarter in favor of the Saints. Juan, jump shot. Too strong, and Worm, defensive rebound. Indiana Tech up by 17. Points will be necessary in this quarter, yes, but taking care of the basketball continues to be the main focus. If you don't turn it over here, it's going to be hard to lose this game. If you start turning it over, though, door widens for Siena Heights to get back in it. Foy, fade away, just rolled out. Alvin coming up the floor. Gives back for Wong. Hinton on the outside, hand right in her face. Drives in, lost the basketball, and it's out of bounds to Tech. Warriors have to be patient, breaking the timeline as well. Covington got to get it across here. And it is a 10-second violation. Nobody had control of the basketball for Tech. DeLong and Geis Finch back in for Siena Heights. Geis Finch, 6 first half points. She was the only one who was able to hit from beyond the arc in the first half for Siena Heights. Hinton has knocked down a couple. Geis Finch catch and shoot from deep, and it's another one. Nothing but net for Geis Finch. Full court pressure again. Worms pass. Burris able to corral. 14-point game. And a foul on the far side of the floor against Siena Heights. It's on Hinton. Her first. Warriors going to have to show some toughness down the stretch. Foy with 10 points tonight. Smith in double figures. Worm for Covington, 10 to shoot. Down to 5, Smith. Gives out up high, Covington at the horn, no good. Now Siena Heights inside of 8 minutes can bring it to 4 possessions with a bucket. Hinton the jumper, no. Worm grabs the loose ball rebound. And look at that, good work from Worm. Get up the floor, across midcourt, spin it out to a guard. Worm spins to the left shoulder and lays it off the glass. Much needed bucket for Indiana Tech. Quiets down the Saints bench momentarily. Alvin, her jump shot, no good. Covington rebound. And up ahead for Burris on the attack, blocked by Wong. Ball poked free. Wong gets it back. Driving in, blocked by Smith. DeLong finishes, though, over the top. Baseball pass up the floor. Worm fouled by DeLong. That's her 4th. Last offensive possession for Indiana Tech. Worm to that left shoulder for the bucket. Bethany Worm at the free throw line, 71% this season. Comes up short on the first. One for 2. Juan driving against Burris, spins around, puts one up. It was halfway down and popped out. 15-point Indiana Tech lead. Foy the handoff for Covington. 10 to shoot once again for Indiana Tech. They'll go inside. Erica Foy, jumper, no. Off the heel. Juan again, she's going on the attack right now and got bailed out on a foul call underneath. Foy, her 4th. Oh no, it's on Burris. just her second. That does help Indiana Tech. 5:59, fourth quarter. Juan, first free throw is in. Juan with 5 points. Hinton's got 21. Geis Finch with 9. Warriors led by Worm, who has 13 with 11 rebounds. Double-double for Bethany Worm this evening. Lowry up the floor, had it stripped free. Geis Finch driving, missed the lay-in, and Covington able to come down with a defensive board. Now numbers up ahead, but Hinton stops the numbers, throws it back down. Geis Finch, patient, missed the lay-in. Alvin put back in a foul, although Alvin could have been called for over the back first. Lowry's second team foul, number 2. 5:33, fourth quarter. And Corinne Smith is on for Indiana Tech. Lowry's coming out. Number 1 versus number 2 in the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference. Alvin with a big make of the free throw line where she shoots 58% on the season. Less than a month away from the start of the WHAC tournament, February 28th. Free throw good, and the pair is through for Alvin. It's an 11-point game, 5.5 to go. It was 50-21 at the half. Siena Heights defense has woken up, and there's a foul on Alcock as Worm got to the rim. Third team foul of the quarter against Siena Heights. Worm sinks the first free throw. 14 points now to lead the scorers for Indiana Tech. Warriors 7 of 8 at the free throw line, still shooting above 55% from the floor. 2 for 2 for Worm on this trip. Still a double-digit advantage for Indiana Tech as we approach the final media timeout at the under 5 here in the fourth quarter. Alcock facing up, will hand off for Hinton instead. Driving against Covington, got the corner and lays it through. Midway through the fourth quarter. Smith driving in, pulls up to 15 and sinks it. Timeout Indiana Tech. Much needed bucket for the Warriors. We'll take a full break. 4:48 to go in the fourth. Warriors up by 13. SummitCitySports.com. The finish is after this.
From the first day, I felt very welcome at Indiana Tech.
I just really enjoy the classes and the vibe I get from all the other athletes and just the students here. Everybody's cool and everybody gets along really well.
I'm currently a senior, and since my freshman year, student life activities have really grown throughout campus, and there's so many ways that you can meet new people. You can go bowling, you can watch movies, and it's just really important to get involved on campus.
We have intramurals, anything from billiards to basketball. It's made student life very enjoyable.
I love Fort Wayne because there's always something going on, like festivals. I walk a bunch of the trails here locally. There's great restaurants. There's always something fun to do. You can never be bored here in Fort Wayne.
The school spirit at Indiana Tech is epic. It's everything. We had our first annual hockey game not too long ago. Everybody showed up, face paint, cowbells, Trojan hats, lawn gnomes. It was amazing. It makes it so worthwhile to be a Warrior. Go Warriors.
(68-55). Number 21 Indiana Tech leads Siena Heights, who is receiving votes in this latest edition of the coaches poll, which came out today. top two teams in the conference. A chance for the Warriors to build a 2-game cushion with 7 games remaining in the conference slate after tonight. Jaron Matheny for SummitCitySports.com. Esau Haynes running our camera here this evening. We'll have game 2 of the doubleheader next. Nearly a turnover on the inbound out of the timeout. And they'll put DeLong right back into this game for the Saints with her 4 personal fouls. They're going to need her down the stretch. Geis Finch called for a carry. DeLong back in for Siena Heights. And we are back to another media timeout. I'm pretty sure we just took one, so I don't, unless we've got a floating here down the stretch, not sure. We were trying and discussing the media timeout thing at the scores table earlier, and we still have got an extra one from the officials, it appears. So we'll step aside, take a break. 68-55, Indiana Tech back in 40 seconds to the Schaefer Center. SummitCitySports.com. .55, Indiana Tech on top of Siena Heights. Final 4.5 minutes from the Schaefer Center this evening. Tech basketball and a fresh 30 on the shot clock. Foy in the front court, back to Covington. Worm underneath, Smith missed the reverse lay-in. Loose ball out of bounds to Siena Heights. Could have been a big lay-in there, but the other thing is that shot came with about 20 seconds on the clock. And this could be a possession game if Indiana Tech wants to turn it into one. Siena Heights 2 fouls to give at this point. DeLong out to the right. Alvin looking for somewhere to go. Juan gets the handoff. In the paint, Juan turns to her left shoulder, floats it up and in. 68-57 Indiana Tech inside of 4 minutes. Covington off for Burris. They'll go into Foy. Double teamed. And 2 free throws upcoming. Free throws for Erica Foy. Came into tonight with 1,984 career points, now with 1,994. And still 6 away from 2,000. Second attempt, good. 5 away for Foy from that 2,000 marker. Tech is at home Saturday against Aquinas. She doesn't get it here tonight. Hinton, kick out. Geis Finch, a 3. Big time shot. Brings it back to a single-digit game. 3:10 left in the fourth quarter. Geis Finch in double figures. Worm doesn't have the answer. 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Genevieve Decker back to the scorer's table. Juan in for Alvin. Ball up in the air. DeLong stripped free by Foy. What an effort it's been from Siena Heights here in the second half to create the comeback. They have not led at any point in this game. Shot clock to single digits. Smith funneled to the right. Covington gets it and is fouled by DeLong. That's her fifth. And DeLong has fouled out of this game with 2:22 to play in the fourth quarter. It is the fifth team foul against Siena Heights as well, so 2 free throws coming for Taylor Covington. Coach Siljabek says she gets 40 seconds here to deal with the foul and create a substitution, which has already been done. So Alcock is in for DeLong. Two free throws for Taylor Covington. Couple of big threes for Covington in this game. 6 points in total. Bigger free throws here. Looked good in the form, but it was too strong. Covington a 73% shooter at the charity stripe. Drains the second, and it's a 4-possession lead for Tech. 2:20 to play. Doubleheader game 2 is next on the men's side. And a timeout for Siena Heights. Still 2 remaining for the Saints. Just a 30-second timeout. We'll take the brief pause. Back right after this. SummitCitySports.com. Indiana Tech with a 10-point lead over Siena Heights. Closing moments after this.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Two minutes and 11 seconds remain in this fourth quarter. Indiana Tech leads by 10 over Siena Heights. Top spot in the conference is on the line. If the Saints can mount the comeback and finish off what would be a 30-point comeback, they would be tied with Tech at the top of the WAC standings. Geis Finch trying to get around Worm. Threw it up, no good. Foy fouled by Alcock. And it'll be Erica Foy to the other end of the floor for 2 free throws. Alcock, her second personal, or the senior out of Tecumseh, Michigan. Foy, 11 points tonight. Some free throws left out there for Indiana Tech. 5 of 9 in this fourth quarter. Foy now with 12 points, 4 away from 2K. Double screens up high. Wong draining time off the clock here. Hinton, step through, right hand, no. Covington, big rebound. A chance to take this game down to about 1:15 for Indiana Tech if they use the full shot clock. Worm up high for Burris. Covington, right corner pocket, big time 3! Taylor Covington could be the dagger tonight. Hinton step back, and nice response. Down to a minute in the fourth quarter. Worm bumped into by Hinton. Shot clock winding down on the last possession. Taylor Covington from the far corner, big time three. And again, a miss on the front end of a free throw for Tech. Good thing we're not shooting 1-and-1 anymore. Worm 1 for 2 and a 12-point Indiana Tech lead. Timeout. Siena Heights. Final 55 seconds coming your way after this. SummitCitySports.com. Final 55 seconds of the fourth quarter. A 12-point Indiana Tech lead. That totals 4 possessions here. See what Siena Heights does. Alvin kicking it out. Hinton gonna launch. Came up short. Burris rebound. Covington back for Foy. Just got to break the midcourt line. And they do with a bullet pass ahead. Burris is fouled. And a reach in with 35.9 left in this game. Juliana Burris to the free throw line. Burris with 1 make here at the line would become the 5th player to enter double figures tonight. Decker's got 9 points as well. And Burris up to 10. Another timeout for Siena Heights. Last timeout by the Saints. This is a full timeout. 36 seconds to go. Warriors on the verge of going to 15-0 in the conference and snapping Siena Heights' 18-game winning streak.
Want to know the difference between dreaming and doing? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a Warrior. Want to know what it means to be a Warrior? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and walk a mile in a Warrior's shoes.
35.9 on the clock here in the fourth quarter. 76-63. It is officially a 5-possession lead for Indiana Tech, barring any fouls from the outside. Got to go quickly for Siena Heights. Juan driving, spinning, and lays it in. Shot clock is off. And Indiana Tech wants a timeout to advance the basketball and give a little bit more cushion. Warriors 2 timeouts remaining. Bethany Worm with 16 points, 13 for Corinne Smith, 12 for Erica Foy, 10 for both Covington and Burris, and Genevieve Decker's got 9 on 3 of 4 shooting for Decker. She's also 3 for 3 at the free throw line. Some games that have gone final in the WHAC tonight. This is the most important one for the conference standings, but Concordia was in a battle tonight with Lourdes. Concordia holds on 68-56. Rochester defeats Cleary 71-59. Cornerstone over Dearborn by 21. Lawrence Tech beats Madonna by a single point. And our last final, Northwestern Ohio over Madonna 83-64. Lawrence Tech over Aquinas 67-66. Aquinas will be here on Saturday. Inbounding to Foy, and an immediate foul sends Erica Foy to the free throw line. 4 points away from 2,000 in her career. Couple of made free throws here, and you get her the ball back. She might have a chance to do it at the line in this game. First is good. Foy with 13 in this game. 3 away. Foy, 2 points away from 2,000. 25 seconds remaining. Siena Heights' 18-game winning streak is going to come to a close at the hands of their conference rival, Indiana Tech. Deep three, no. Loose ball, offensive rebound. Alvin puts it up. It goes. 7.8 on the clock. A turnover here. Loose ball, Covington picks it up and is fouled with 1.6 remaining. Warriors are going to go to 18-3 on the year, 15-0 in the conference. 9 consecutive victories for Indiana Tech. And the 18-game winning streak for Siena Heights will come to a close at the Schaefer Center here tonight. Covington buries the first. Shot is off in time, but short. It's a final from the Schaefer Center. Indiana Tech defeats Siena Heights 80-67. Your final score. The Warriors are 15-0 in the conference standings, 18-3 overall, as 5 players finish in double figures tonight for Indiana Tech. The number 21 Warriors back on the home floor Saturday at 1 p.m. against Aquinas before 2 road games at Lawrence Tech and at Rochester next week. Siena Heights is at home on Saturday, 3 p.m. tip-off in their pink game against Cleary. The Saints 13-2 in the conference, 18-3 on the season. Your final stats: Bethany Worm, a double-double, 16 points and 11 rebounds, 14 points for Erica Foy. She's just 2 away from career points 2,000. 13 for Corinne Smith, 12 for Covington, 10 for Burris, 9 for Decker, and 6 for Amaris Lowry. 6 big points from long range for Lowry in this game. It was 50-21 at the half. Siena Heights had to claw back in this one, but the offense from Indiana Tech, too much tonight as the Warriors win 80-67 over the Saints. We'll talk to you for our second game of the night in about a half hour. SummitCitySports.com and Indiana Tech Athletics on YouTube.
Want to know the difference between dreaming and doing? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a Warrior. Want to know what it means to be a Warrior? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and walk a mile in a Warrior's shoes.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
From the first day, I felt very welcome at Indiana Tech.
I just really enjoy the classes and the vibe I get from all the other athletes and just the students here. Everybody's cool and everybody gets along really well.
I'm currently a senior, and since my freshman year, student life activities have really grown throughout campus, and there's so many ways that you can meet new people. You can go bowling, you can watch movies, and it's just really important to get involved on campus.
We have intramurals, anything from billiards to basketball. It's made student life very enjoyable.
I love Fort Wayne because there's always something going on, like festivals. I walk a bunch of the trails here locally. There's great restaurants. There's always something fun to do. You can never be bored here in Fort Wayne.
The school spirit at Indiana Tech is epic. It's everything. We had our first annual hockey game not too long ago. Everybody showed up, face paint, cowbells, Trojan hats, lawn gnomes. It was amazing. It makes it so worthwhile to be a Warrior. Go Warriors.
You want to know what's possible at Indiana Tech? Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a Warrior.